Are you there?
Hello.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm here. Can you?
I can hear you now. What's up?
Hello. You can hear me now?
Yes.
Okay. What's up with you tonight?
I think there's a little delay between us or something.
Yeah. I think there is quite a delay.
So are you related to Daniel or Malehya?
I'm the relation of Malehya.
Gotcha.
I'm the Malehya side of the family.
Gotcha. Well, thank you so much for calling. I do appreciate it. So,
Well,
that's
good, I guess.
So, what is your thoughts on? First of all, what is your thoughts on everything happening?
Well, things are breaking loose. I'm very disappointed today. The second half of the day sickened me really, but I was very close to finding the last two pieces of important information out.
Mm-hmm.
And I got sort of... Malehya won't talk to anyone.
Right.
Not even her own mother.
Mm-hmm.
And I gained Malehya's trust, and she agreed to talk to me this afternoon, to meet, because there was a couple of things that I can only get. I know everything else. I believe I do, and I'm very sure I do. I know everything that happened.
Okay.
I'm friends with Daniel, and I'm friends with Daniel's family, and they trust me. And of course, my family on this side, they trust me.
Uh-huh.
So I'm not overly, I don't know what you call it. I'm not a detective. I'm just a regular guy.
So is Malehya with her mom? Is she still staying with her mom?
No, Malehya took off to the reservation, and she's with her Indian family now, and they're all around her.
Okay, I've heard that. Yeah.
Brooks family. That's where her name Brooks comes from.
Okay.
And she's with the Brooks family right now. And CPS took Meadow, no doubt, because she was living at Cindy's place supposedly under 24-hour supervision by her mother and her mother's man.
Right.
But anyway, she ended up. We had a little event there yesterday, and I think I caused it. I meant to stir things up because there was nothing happening, and I meant to stir things up, and I did. And she panicked. This is my belief now. She panicked, grabbed Meadow, and took off to the reservation. And she feels safe at the reservation in amongst her native family. They're all very close.
Okay.
And that's where her lawyer is too. Her lawyer who represents her is a native lawyer. I believe the chief on that reservation is a female now, and I've referred to the chief on that reservation a few times as he. I think it's a female.
Okay.
But anyway, the lawyer she has is the chief's brother. So she feels safe there, and I think she is safe there. Now, you're going pretty hard on Daniel, and I think if you I've investigated. I had trouble getting in touch with Malehya because she initially took off, hid, and shut right down. Like I said, she wouldn't talk to her mother. She wouldn't talk to anybody in the family at all. She just shut right up. So I spent most of my first time looking into this. My family called me. They live over in Truro, that side of my family, mostly in Truro. I'm 40 miles east of that.
Uh-huh.
And Lansdowne is 20 miles west of me, 20 minutes west of me. So being a member of the family and then knowing Daniel and knowing his family pretty good, I sort of got caught in the middle of this because my family called me and they know I know the Mackenzies. Daniel's name is Martell, but his uncles and most of his family, their names are Mackenzie.
Mm-hmm.
And and my people in Truro, my family, called me and asked me if I could look into this, because for the first 2 weeks I didn't even piece together that these were our kids, that these were in our family. And there was stuff happening around me that I didn't know was connected until after I realized who it was. And then,
okay, so what do you think happened to, like, what do you think's going on?
This is why I'm trying to communicate this stuff on social outlets.
Uh-huh.
That's the big deal. This has been worked up so big because just a couple people made a couple little mistakes at the start of this. There's no murder, there's no abduction, there's no child trafficking, there's no big meth house, there's none of that.
Where's the kids? That's the main thing. Just where are they?
This is why I just told you I'm sick to my stomach right now, because I was just about to meet with Malehya, and there's one piece of information that I needed off Malehya, and she was ready to give it to me. But then her family on the reservation strongly advised her they didn't think it was safe to talk to me. Now, that's a big mistake, because believe this or not, she's my family. And I wanted to help Malehya.
Right.
And I wanted to help her because I do know so much about this, and I know what happened. And believe this or not.
Well, but if you know what happened, why are you not telling RCMP?
And this is another thing. Every time I talk on here, people say, "Oh, he's got to tell the cops." Got to tell the cops. I told the cops. They're not acting on what I told them at all. And the last couple of pieces, the last important piece of information I got, I refused to tell them. And I'll tell you why. What I need Malehya for now is I know that Malehya took the kids to the side of the road, and I know she transferred the kids into a vehicle, and this was early in the morning. Mm-hmm. And I know the vehicle took the kids out of there, the two kids. Now, I believe Malehya's intention then, Daniel was asleep, and I believe Malehya's intention then was to go in and get the baby and take the baby and then take off too. Malehya wanted out of there. She wanted out of there for at least a few weeks before the disappearance. And so what she did, she made a mistake doing it that way. But you've got to know Malehya. Mm-hmm. Malehya is a very mild-mannered person. She's not. There's no aggression in Malehya. She's a very peaceful, mild-mannered person.
She doesn't seem like an aggressive person. She seems like a non-confrontational person.
Very non-confrontational. Does not believe in, like, for kids. She does not believe in any kind of corporal punishment. Like, she does not believe in a slap on the butt or even a slap on the hands. Mm-hmm. Now Daniel is more old school like myself, and I do believe in a slap on the arse once in a while. Mm-hmm. For a kid that's, mm-hmm. But I mean, that's about it.
But why would she take the kids and do this and create this big of a stir?
Because number one, she wanted out of there. The relationship was not going so great for a few reasons.
I've heard that.
The relationship, now financially, Daniel was doing his part, even though you see all these people on here screaming about Daniel working 1 day a week. Well, that's bullshit, because the mill he works at is just up the road from where I did live. I just moved not too long ago. It's only a half a mile up the road from where I live. Mm-hmm. And just on a sec, what I got going here. And the reason I got to know Daniel was my youngest son worked at the same mill with him. Mm-hmm. And like I say, they were only half a mile up the road. So they got to be pretty good friends, and they'd stop, of course, at the house. And my son's got an old camper and that down back that he sort of hangs out in by the water, and you know, he enjoys it back there. So, let's shut this phone off. So, anyway, that's how I got to know Daniel, by his association with my son.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Daniel, anytime Daniel was around, and Daniel's another one. Daniel is not an aggressive person at all. He's not. He's a soft-spoken young man. He's not aggressive.
Mm-hmm.
He's very respectful.
Mm-hmm.
I like Daniel. I always did. And I realized, I just had to shut that phone off. People are calling like crazy. I realize, and I don't know if you do or not, but a lot of people, I'm an older guy, and I've been through the mill a little bit with marriage and all that stuff and relationships. And no permanent relationship ever goes perfectly.
No, there's no such thing as a perfect relationship. But
that's exactly right.
But why?
And then when you add a few things.
But why?
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Why do this? Why create this big stir? Like after the RCMP arrived, why didn't she say, hey, I just need to get away from Daniel. I don't know how to do it. The kids are here.
You just hit it right on the button. She wanted to get away from Daniel. She didn't know how to do it. And where I was going with what I was just saying to you is there are allegations of abuse in amongst there. And Malehya being so mild-mannered, I believe I don't have to believe.
Abuse from who?
I know she was... Pardon?
Abuse from who?
Well, what do you classify a slap on the arse as abuse? That's the whole question.
Well, so in America, we are allowed, in most states, I think in all states actually, we're allowed to spank with the hand. And that's it. I think it's wrong. I don't think it teaches kids anything, but there are some people that are fine with it.
You just stated my case for me. You're a person that thinks it's wrong, and there's many people, but yet you just said it's legal in parts of the states, and many people think it's right. So it's a difference of opinion, right? You just stated this better than I probably would. So Malehya and Daniel had those two different forms of opinion on it. Exactly what the two you stated. Mm-hmm. Okay. Now the two kids are not Daniels that are missing now.
Correct.
They were Sullivans.
Right.
And Malehya had a terrible time with Sullivan. He was very abusive. And I think Malehya was still, like, I don't know whether you believe in PTSD, but I think she had quite a bit of it from her previous relationship. And whenever Daniel has a temper, but all he ever does when he has a temper is raise his voice. And that terrified Malehya. You know, whenever they'd have a disagreement, if Daniel raised his voice, it terrified her.
Kind of brought those feelings back from her old relationship.
That's right. So what was going on, that was going on, but they had a good relationship. They were getting along very well for a long time. The kids were well looked after. I mean, I know it's just an old trailer, but you've got to understand something else, too, that a lot of people live like that down here because the economy's bad. And everybody says about Malehya should have had money for the kids. Well, she had some financial difficulties, and a lot of her money was frozen for quite a while. So, and like I said about working the 1 day a week, see, these mills down here, they close down in the spring and the fall for road closures, cross road closures, and then for the rest of the year. Now that mill usually 6 months is a small year, and it usually runs at least 9 months a year full time. So they always get their unemployment renewed every year. And the reason they keep them 1 day a week is if you're a good employee, they don't want you to go somewhere else.
Yeah.
So they pay you the 1 day. They pay you the 1 day a week, and that tops up your unemployment because here in Canada you're allowed to make 25% without them deducting any off your unemployment. So you get your unemployment, and then you get the 1 day's pay, which comes out to almost a week's pay.
So my question is, do you think the kids are on the reservation, or do you think someone has them?
Someone has them, and no, I don't think they're on the reservation.
Okay, because I mean, the
reservation will not take that. The reservation, the councils on the reservations will not take those risks.
Bingo. Yes. And the thing is, I don't know who anybody would take this much of a risk in holding kids and literally their freedom at stake.
Yes, sir. Now, you're starting to get to a part of the root of the matter. The people that are involved, that I believe I came so close right up to today. I was steaming right ahead. I was getting good information. I was from multiple sources. I know I ran my own excavation business here for 30 years, and I knew 5 years ago I knew just about everybody in the county, and everybody knew me. And I had a good little business going. I was busy as hell, so I knew a lot of people.
Mm-hmm.
So once some people around here realized that I was related to those kids, there was people coming to me with little bits of information. And I was using a lot of that information to cross-reference and cross-check from different sources so that, if 3 or 4 different people, or even if I went to see them and asked them questions, nobody minded me asking questions either on the Mackenzie side or on my side. Now, Malehya was the only one. She shut down. But see, I had no access to Malehya for quite a while. I didn't have her phone number. And the Mounties were telling Malehya and Cindy not to speak to anybody. Now, they couldn't order them to, but they suggested to Malehya and Cindy, don't speak to we how do they say it? They never ordered them to, but they suggested that it might interfere with their investigation if they spoke to anybody about the investigation.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Malehya and Cindy they could, but they took the Mounties' advice.
Right.
And okay, so that's why Malehya wasn't speaking. Like I said, Malehya's mild mannered. Cindy's a nurse, and that they're very rule-oriented people as far as social rules and the law. They respect the law. They respect the Mounties. They respect government, and that's why they listen to the Mounties. They think the Mounties are a good leading force and a good guide.
Mm-hmm.
So they listen to them. Now, my opinion of the Mounties is, and that's another reason I got involved when my cousins asked me to, because the Mounties were doing nothing. So, 6-week mark, I was knowing more. I'm sure I was knowing more than the Mounties, and I was getting so goddamn pissed off about it.
Mm-hmm.
That now I've been in contact with the Mounties. Like I said, I called the major crime unit a few weeks ago, and I had a meeting with them, and I told them a couple of tips that I knew at that point.
Do you think they're at this? I can't even begin to pronounce it. Shubenacadie.
Yeah, the Shubenacadie Reserve. The Shubenacadie Reserve. Yeah.
Okay.
Short for Shuby. Everybody around here calls it the Shuby.
Okay, and that's just another reservation, right?
Yeah. It's I believe it's Micmac. That's Malehya's heritage is Micmac. Yeah.
Okay, but I thought you said that you didn't think they were on the reservation.
No. You asked me. You never asked me if they were on. I told you no. I don't believe they're on the reservation. You said you had a hard time pronouncing SHUP, so I said Shubenacadie, and that's the Micmac reservation. So no, I don't believe they're on the reservation at all.
Okay.
And I don't believe they ever were.
Okay.
So,
but who would end up taking these kids with such a national story and the implications that could follow of hiding? I don't understand why Malehya just wouldn't say, guys, the kids aren't missing. I just needed to get out of there. Our relationship fell apart. I was scared.
Yeah. That's the normal reaction of a fairly confident person.
You're breaking up now.
Okay. you hear me now? That's the normal reaction of a fairly confident person. Malehya is very unconfident. Like I said, she's very mild.
I know, but listen, like confident or not, we're over a month into this.
We're over 6 weeks into this.
Right, 6 weeks, yeah.
Now, listen, and you're saying about worldwide attention and all that, right?
Yeah.
Well, it wasn't worldwide attention at 7 o'clock in the morning on the first day when there was no attention. There was nobody but
you're
Daniel,
still breaking
Malehya.
up.
Okay, I don't know what to do about that. There was no worldwide attention when the snap decision was made to ship the kids out of there. You've got to understand this. Malehya is a very passive person, and she decided. Now, for weeks before this, she was telling family members she was done with the relationship. She wanted to get out of there. She was now.
Allegedly, there's been rumors that, and again, it's alleged. I'm not accusing her of this at all, but that she may have been seeing another person.
No.
Okay,
no.
And
there's so many rumors on here, my friend.
Oh, I know that. Yeah, the bigger the story gets, the crazier it gets.
Malehya just got. They're out in the middle of nowhere.
Right.
And, no, that's not even.
But who picked up the kids on the side of the road?
This is what I needed Malehya for. This is what I needed the meeting with Malehya for today, before her native family cut off our communication.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm pretty sure, I would say 80% sure that I know, but I will not speculate. If I tell you something, you don't know me.
Mm-hmm.
But if I tell you something and I say this is the truth and I know it, I've got very good background on it to know it. I've proven it. I've cross-referenced it. I've looked at it myself and know it. Now, there's some I don't know. 2 weeks ago, there was a lot I didn't know. But gradually, it's getting cut right down to what I do know. Now, the last two things I don't know for 100% sure is who Malehya gave those kids to on the side of the road, who was driving, and there was more than one person in the vehicle. Now, this major crime unit, I talked to the cops, and a couple of the things I gave the cops, one was very important at that time.
Mm-hmm.
And I had to go talk to the people myself after that, and they never even interviewed them. They never even checked up on it.
But I mean, they've obviously checked all the cameras, right? They've obviously checked all the cameras where Malehya was, where Daniel was, all of that.
No.
Why?
Listen, the cameras that they checked in the community, they're in Lansdowne. The little and it's not a community Lansdowne really. It's just a house maybe every 500 yards, a dwelling every 500 yards for a while, and then nothing. For about 8.5 kilometers, there's nothing to Glengarry Station. Glengarry Station is the prime place where they got the cams, where they got access to cams. Now, I believe there was one or two in the backwoods, quite a ways behind the property, but they never got very much camera footage from anything.
Mm-hmm.
And okay, I'll ask you a question. It's what it's been 6.5 weeks.
Yes.
Do you really think that if the Mounties solidly investigated this and know what they're doing, that they'd be dropping 150 grand on it now? Does that not admit to you that, Jesus Christ, we need help? We don't know. We can't prove anything here?
I agree. I agree. They don't have what they need.
Nothing. Now that what they have is a lot of suspicion, and I'll tell you where they got most of it was directly from Daniel. But Daniel is you were pretty hard on Daniel as far as flip flopping on some facts.
Yeah, because he's flopped more than a fish.
If you knew how much is in his head, I think you'd forgive him, because he actually knows a lot more than what he's trying to say. There's a lot more to
but
this.
no, but listen,
So,
you can't say the thing about it is like you know, he's saying, you know, he got up and then he was asleep, then she was asleep, and just so many different stories, right? He's saying, you know, that he knows that Malehya is terrified, investigators are close, that she knows that if Malehya stayed there, she would have cracked and all of that. And it's you know, you just don't sometimes it's better to just be quiet. You know what I mean? Like I would refer him to just be quiet, to be quite honest with you. If because it I don't think, I mean, the RCMP might like it. I mean, after the interview that he did the other day, and then, you know, they'll know if it was him last night in, you know, on the internet or what. And if it was him, I'm sure the RCMP are going to be either hung up on me or we broke up. We were having a little connection issues, so um, we'll see if he calls me back. Let me see. He might have hung up on me. I don't know. Okay. Whoop. Okay. I think he thinks he's still on the line with me. Mute one sec. I'll try him back again in a minute. You know, the thing about all of that is, you know, I really have a hard problem with Malehya just not. I mean, I understand people can be, you know, not very confrontational. They don't want to be confrontational. They just want peace when they leave. They don't want a big deal. I get that. But why couldn't she have done that when he went to work? You know what I mean? Guys, please be respectful to the caller. Please be respectful to the caller. We don't have to always agree uh to get along, you know what I mean? So but did you see the interview with a family member, Mr. Delwood, who told what happened and how he believed everything went down that day? It's crazy because it matches Daniel's story. The man is the best piece of info we have gotten. You know, I don't know. I mean, I appreciate him calling in, and I hope he calls back. I do want to pick his brain and hear him out, because he's obviously local, and he's obviously been working hard. I think it's a lot of connection issues. Let me just make sure he's not. He was having phone trouble a second ago. Okay. All right. So we'll see if he calls back. And you know, he said, you know, you were kind of going hard on Daniel. Well, yeah, I am, because these are missing children, right? These are missing children, and you know, don't really tell Daniel shouldn't be saying this in chat rooms and online. Like, tell the RCMP or tell someone, right? Because there's a lot of weirdness, and it's only getting weirder. Now it's been so long, and maybe everyone is afraid to say where the kids are in fear of law and consequences. But that's the thing, right? That's the thing. Why let it go that far? Can kids be hidden? Yes, sure can. But Malehya, first of all, those aren't Daniel's kids, right? They're not his kids. Meadow is Daniel's kid. And he's talking about how she's not the type of person to spank her kids. And this guy is alleging Daniel might be more the type to spank the kids and all of that.